Hello and welcome to the Hunting Unicorns Project. My name is Damian Shipley Marshall, and we are at long last doing a news update video. I think the last time we did this was in October 2024. It is now August of 2025. As is usually the case, if there hasn't been a lot of activity happening on the channel and the site, it's because there's been a lot of activity happening behind the scenes, and that's been very much the case. Back in October, of course, we had just finished doing the show at the Royal College of Art's Festival of Communication. We had trailers in Outernet and the BBC Centre in White City in London, and overall we received some really positive feedback about what we had presented up until that point. The highlight for October for me was that we had completed the short film No Choice, which for me represents the best of what we've done so far and the future of what I want the bulk of the projects to be like moving forward with Hunting Unicorns, in that we're collaborating with more people to share their perspectives of what it's like to grow up in fundamentalist communities. Since then, we've been really busy with just kind of normal life sort of things. I've had to figure out what I was going to actually do for employment so that I could start looking at how I'm going to remain in the UK. I've been working as a supply teacher since November, but have also managed to secure employment up here in Hertfordshire, which I have just recently relocated to. As you can see behind me, my setup is a little bit different. There's a little bit of different stuff going on in the background because we have actually moved since the last time that we have updated. But we have not been neglecting Hunting Unicorns, as hopefully we'll show in this update video. So back in March, we actually celebrated our 1-year anniversary of collaborating on this project together. And I felt that that was as good a time as any to start kind of thinking about the pros and cons of what we've done so far. Now, of course, our main objective with this is we want people to be able to creatively make a professional-looking story which talks about their experiences without identifying themselves. And the metahumans, mixed in with a little bit of the AI hocus-pocus that we've been using here and there, has really been doing a really great job at doing that. All the hard work in setting up a digital character like that has already been done through the Epic's MetaHuman Creator program. We've been able to supplement it a little bit, customize them a little bit more than what you're normally able to do with getting into altering them in Blender, which has all been very positive. And as I said, it meets our objectives. It creates a very professional looking product, and we're able to do it in a reasonable amount of time, which actually doesn't cost quite a bit of money because we don't monetize this project, and we want to make sure that we're keeping what we do very much realistic within our current personal budget. And now, what are the cons? This con actually goes back to when I was still working in the Royal College of Art. This actually came from a fellow student in one of our presentations, and it's been with me for a very long time now. And one of the things that they said was, if you're going to use the metahumans, and you want to make sure that you're giving your participants as much creative control, the metahumans do actually kind of lock you into a hyper-real aesthetic. You have to speak through a human, which is got a very basic template which has a very definite normative bias, which may not necessarily suit everybody. What happens when if a participant wants to do like a little bit more of a cartoony sort of story? What happens if they want to speak through an animal? Because that's been that's a valid storytelling device that we've been doing since Aesop. So it does feel that if we're going to continue using the metahumans exclusively, that can be a little bit limiting for our participants. So I do want to kind of expand out the kind of devices that we can use for storytelling. We got into generative AI as partly a solution for that, and while I'm not personally sold on the benefits of using exclusively I definitely think that's something that should be available to our participants should they want it. But yeah, for me, it's just kind of I want to start expanding out what we can actually do with the process, which means for me, I've got to be less digital director and more animator. And that's been another one of the cons in working in the processes that we have, is that because we're using templates where all of the hard work has kind of been done for you, I haven't really been picking up much skills as an animator. And that's what's led us working into our current project, where once again we're kind of working from our own perspective, but it's done with the goal of making a project that is going to kind of showcase a story that you could potentially tell with us. So that story is The White Heart, and it's become our latest monster in the box type story. As I said, it's designed to kind of bring out, to expand out technically what we do. But yeah, there's been a massive learning curve in working on this project, and it's something that we've been working on since April, both in the construction of the story and in setting things up. I believe I have set up some kind of teaser footage in May of some things that we've already created for it. But yeah, we're using this as an opportunity to kind of talk about toxic masculinity within fundamentalist communities. We're also using as our imagery influence the legend of Holyrood House. But this features our first non-metahuman character who had to be created from scratch. And it's an animalistic character. It is a great white talking stag. He was created in Blender. He's been exported into Unreal Engine, and I'm currently trying to work out all of the things that need to be done in setting up his control rig so that he can be animated in the story. But we're hoping this is going to be the first of many characters that we can experiment with so that we can show people other possibilities of expressing themselves as they tell their stories. What we've also started to discover is that technically this is also stressing our current machinery. So I've been running Hunting Unicorns off of a 10-year-old gaming laptop, which I converted into a work laptop about 5 years ago. It's been doing a bang-up job. It can still handle the performances that we've obviously done in the past, but with the new stuff that we're doing, I mean, we're talking about multiple metahumans in one scene as support for this custom-made character, which has got hair dynamics, there's VFX, there's, massive scenes, much more complicated scenes than we've ever done before. And just unfortunately, our technology can't quite, at this moment, do what we need it to do. So obviously we have plans of upgrading our technology. That's on the way. Hopefully we're going to get that back up and running here fairly soon, but do keep a lookout for the other stories that are going to be coming out. Even if we're not working with other people, we're going to be taking this opportunity to expand what we currently do with our production, and I'm going to be experimenting with other sort of forms of animation as well. It's a really exciting time. So another big thing that this is going to contribute to is the time in which we are uploading projects. When we were working on Hunting Unicorns in the heyday, back when this was a part of my master's work, we were dedicating ourselves to it full time. And you were probably seeing a new project getting uploaded once or twice, probably about every 3 to 5 weeks. Now we're potentially looking at a project getting uploaded once every 3 to 5 months. So for us, we're also taking into consideration how do we make sure that we show that the Hunting Unicorns project is still very much alive. And for that, we're kind of looking at doing some more, maybe some video essays or vlogs, something that doesn't require quite so much production time. And this is, of course, to show that we're still actively a part of this conversation and this community. Now, just to be clear, this does not mean that we are not actively looking for collaboration with other individuals. we are absolutely still open to collaborating with people. So if you are happy with some of the productions that we've done in the past and you want us to help set up something like that with you, we're more than happy to do that. If it's a situation where you just kind of want to, talk to us and have a conversation with us, and that's something that you want to upload, that would be fantastic too. If you want to work with us in creating something that's completely different to what we've done on the site before, as I said, we're currently working towards that goal and would love to discuss ideas with you. I guess the main thing that I wanted to get through with this entire update is that we're entering an exciting new period of where we're going to be updating and changing the site, making it a much more vibrant contributor towards this conversation around fundamentalist Christianity. And we're still very actively looking for people to participate in that journey with us. So on that note, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has supported and worked with us up until this point. Thank you in advance to anybody who is thinking about working with us and supporting us in the future. And we're just very excited about how we're going to, how we're contributing and how we're going to be contributing to a conversation and a critical story that I think really needs to be talked about in the contemporary world. And thankfully, it is starting to get much more traction. There's a lot more people willing to discuss this idea of, the dangers of fundamentalism, spiritual trauma, and stuff like that. On that note as well, since we last updated, there has also been the launch of the Religious Trauma Network. So if you are an individual that is suffering with religious trauma or currently going through a deconstruction journey or a healing journey, and you want somebody that can talk to you in just a little bit more of a supportive sense, not necessarily with what we do in getting our stories out there, I'm going to leave a link in the description towards the Religious Trauma Network, which can get you in touch with people who can help you on your healing journey. If you've, like I said, if you've recently started your deconstructive journey, or you just kind of need somebody to talk about your current situation with fundamentalism. I know a couple of the people who are involved in this group. They're really good people. They're really supportive people, and they are also people who have experienced the same sort of things that you are probably experiencing, and can give you some very real advice. So thank you very much again, and I look forward to seeing what we're going to accomplish in the future.